So good.
Yeah, I think this has to be the winner. It just doesn't even feel like I'm hitting a ball.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to take a deep dive into maybe a bit of a controversial topic, Mikey, and something we feel really, really passionate about. Custom fit versus custom fit.
I like it. This will be good. They dive into what people should avoid
Yes.
and why they should come to Club Champion.
Absolutely. There are so many layers to that definition or that title of I was custom fit. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people, companies out there doing it and doing it in a way that is unfortunately going to leave people wondering, is this custom fit even, is this even worth doing? Is it worth spending time and money on? You know, I've been custom fit in the past. It stung me for X dollars. I got worse, not better.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't get a hold of the fitter afterwards for any follow-up in terms of making sure the clubs were good. We're going to dive into all of that today. And I have a very special guest to do that with. We have Zach with us on the channel.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to be here for this test. I think it's going to be a really good one. I'm ready for it.
It is, and you are a prime example, Zach, of someone who has been custom fit, and we're putting the air quotes around it.
Yeah, I went custom fit about 2 years ago for these T300s.
Yep.
And I really like them, actually. I feel confident behind them, and for me, that's what I want to feel like when I'm playing, just a lot of confidence. I'm a feel player, so I'm not really, although I did have a fitting, I didn't get into the nuanced statistics and numbers that are important for me. I kind of chose my club based off of how I felt like I was hitting it and what I wanted, just how I felt. So it's going to be really cool to see what kind of results we get today.
And it's your background that kind of led you to that type of decision-making process. You're a high-level tennis player. We talked earlier about how you choose your rackets, how do players pick their rackets, and really there is no custom fitting like this in tennis. I mean, you can get some different rackets to try, and some different. You were educating us on strings earlier and the different options you've got, but
lots of different tensions, racket weights, weight dispersions, but there's no way to show numbers behind what you're doing. Essentially, at regular tennis clubs, they're just not available. Yeah. So you kind of really have to go off feel. And if you're a coach, like if I'm in your position on the tennis court, what you're seeing with the player's swing, and just kind of doing a visual analysis. So yeah, that's kind of my background in tennis, and I implement that across other sports. So for golf, I kind of just know with muscle memory, I'm able to repeat something, and I hit the ball this way. It gives me a flight that I can repeat, and I'm happy with that. Definitely. I'm not thinking about it much more. Yeah,
and I think for some people it's, I don't want to say ignorance is bliss, but there's sometimes overthinking. It can be overthinking it.
Totally.
That's our job. That's what we do. We overthink it for you. And guys, what we are going to dive into today is we're going to take Zach's spec sheet, right? So I said to him coming in, if you have the spec sheet from the fitting you got, I'd love to see it in advance, be great. So Zach gave us the spec sheet, Titleist T300s, True Temper AMT White X100 shafts. There actually wasn't a designated lie angle recommendation on the spec sheet, but as it turns out after measuring, they're a little bit upright. But the biggest, I guess, red flag immediately for us when I saw the spec sheet, Mikey, was when we looked at Zach's clubs where they're not AMT whites.
Yeah, when we were chatting earlier, I was like, did you get this reshafted? Like maybe one iron is just different. He's like, no, this is the whole set. So you want to quote unquote say lied to, or there was a mistake from the fitter, but that attention to detail that was not there from what you were fit to what he received. That's just I mean, that's just a slap in the face to the customer, in my opinion.
Yes. You know, you buy your Mercedes GLE 63 AMG, and then it turns out it's got the 350 engine in it.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel great about it.
No.
You're not going to feel great because you specifically bought a spec that you thought was exactly what you wanted, and it turns out to be nothing like what you wanted. Now, we're going to see in a second here whether they actually are great for Zach or whether they're not great for Zach. We're going to see what they are like in terms of performance. But immediately, because Zach talks about his fitting experience actually very confidently. like you talked about, like, you know, it was good. I really, you know, found like some good improvements from the previous set. My question to that is, would anything have improved on Zach's previous set? Because you said it was a bit of a beginner set or an older set.
It's a graphite shafted iron set from the 90s.
Exactly. So maybe anything was going to be that next step for you. Unfortunately, you know, from a custom perspective, I don't think you really got what you paid for, which is the unfortunate thing. And that was coming up for 4 years ago. It's 3 years ago, sorry, 2021. That's a long time to be playing with these clubs and sort of playing the game and that type of thing. So, guys, there's levels to the detail. What we deliver, what we recommend is why we have that relationship with our clients. What's why we have the relationship we do with our club builders. We have to make sure that process is step by step, carried out meticulously, so that what you get in the bay is what you get in your hand.
100%. We cannot speak on the custom built side of it more. I mean, the fittings, great, but for all our fitters, you know, US, Canada, UK, Australia, they're always thinking that build process. You know, how dialed is swing weight, length, loft, lie. It's a big thing. It's why you come to us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, we're going to get some spec shots from Zach now with his own clubs. We're going to see how suited they are, and then we're going to get to work in terms of what we think is going to help Zach play better.
Love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, Zach, from your background playing tennis, you've got some speed, right? You were hitting some balls, and we don't know exactly how far you're going to hit 6 specifically, but you definitely have some speed. How far do you feel like you hit 6 iron? How far on the golf course do you gauge for a 6 iron distance?
I'd say between 205 to 14-ish.
Okay.
I try and take lower swings with clubs. I don't try and go out there and just power it. Just try and stay in control. But yeah, if I'm carrying it the way I want to, it's gonna be between like 205, 214-ish.
Love it. Okay, let's hit a few. Let's see what's going on. How many rounds do you play a year?
I would say, if I'm lucky, probably closer to 25.
Okay,
25,
so
30.
Not bad.
Lots of scramble play with my friends in the summer.
That's good.
25, is that a good week? Yeah, you can see that distance there. I mean, you've kind of open face fanned that one a little bit, and it's breezed out to 206 on the fly, 219 total.
Definitely a cut player. I'm not trying to, I don't really hit draws on purpose.
That's a beauty. There's your lovely little cut there. Little. Really nice. Maybe a couple more. Maybe just one more good one.
Okay. So there are a lot of numbers that are popping up on the screen. It can be a little overwhelming to not know what I'm trying to look for.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just, I mean, shot per shot, it's honestly not that relevant to even really watch them. What's more relevant is when we get into this sort of averages over here, and we kind of look at, when we get to the compare page, Zach, start looking at things like, I look probably as much at the standard deviation as I do at what the actual number is itself. Like 36.93 in total spin, you know, it's probably not ideal, but if it's doing the same thing every time, I can kind of live with it because it's repeatable. But the reality is, based on the standard deviation, it's not that repeatable, so it tells me we fluctuate too much. Right. So, okay, last one. Nice. Nicely done. Okay, we're gonna have some fun with this one.
This will be good.
Yeah. So let's kind of look at this in stages, right? Because if we are, again, talking about for the benefit of you guys watching, why do we think you need to be custom fit, right, by us, by a team of professional, dedicated club fitters? And then, guys, this might feel like you're getting pounded over the head with a hammer on the sort of the value of coming in to see us, but it kind of is important. It's important that you know we try and get this across, because sometimes we tiptoe around it, not wanting to hurt people's feelings. But the only people whose feelings are getting hurt are you people who are spending your money incorrectly. So this is why we're doing, this video in particular. If we look at Zach's numbers here, great club head speed at 93 miles an hour. Zach, you're just about on PGA Tour average, right? So you get great speed. You are good on efficiency, but it's a little up and down on that efficiency. That's where the standard deviation kicks in. If I was to look at these numbers right now, I'd probably guess you're hitting a 3 hybrid, maybe a 5 wood. Wow. So the fact we're hitting a 6 iron is again another bit an indicator for us that something's not quite right here. Then we go into the delivery. What is it about it then that makes it sort of a little bit dangerous territory for you? So this club has 26.5 degrees of loft on it. I measured it 2 minutes ago. You deliver 20.5. So you lean the shaft a little bit forward, which is great. You're not much of a divot taker, right? So you can catch behind the ball a little bit from time to time, but you're not a big, steep divot taker. So that's your DNA as a swing. Then if we want to get into your DNA as a player and your movement pattern, so when we talk before we hit balls, we're kind of subtly interviewing you, right? How do you play tennis, Western grip? Okay, cool. Because there's playing with different types of grips in tennis that have different ground force implications. Someone with a Western grip, and you demonstrated it for us, which is perfect, is going to use more vertical force than someone who has, I guess, more of an orthodox, old school grip, who's going to be more of a rotator, right? That's very impactful in what we're going to see in the bay. Then I start watching your legs, right? So I start watching how your legs straighten, how your footwork moves. You have a lot of torque in your feet, right? That's where a lot of your power comes from. So there's all these little indicators in terms of your past and then what you're doing in front of us that tell us exactly what you have in the locker. You're hitting that great and it's going miles. I think you have a lot more in the locker, if I'm being honest. I think you could get a lot more out of it. So that's a little bit about what we sort of do behind the desk here in terms of the fit itself. And then when we sort of diagnose the numbers, the one thing Mike and I are looking at here and go, we can make this a lot more consistent.
Totally. Yeah. Consistency, the big one, that strike likes to move around, efficiency goes down a bit. And when we talked to you earlier, you were like, yeah, there's times, if I turn one over, the draw you don't hit and it goes 235. Yeah. That's the one thing I want to get rid of your bag. I always ask customer, what side of the golf course do you hate the most? And they say left. Okay, you're never going to see left after today. So yeah, this will be a fun fit.
Okay, we're probably going to go in a completely different direction in terms of the head that we get you into. We're probably going to take some distance away from you. So you've got tons of speed and you've got enough in the distance in the bag that you can actually give some up in order to condense your yardage a little bit. Okay. Right now, I think you were warming up and you were hitting sort of like, I think you were hitting 8 or 175. Well, I get worried about what do you do from 110 and 130. Those yardages start to become a problem.
Right. I actually play 5 wedges right now. I have a 62 degree, 57 degree, 53, 48, and my P wedge is 43.
43. Yeah. Okay. We'll dive into all of that as well, and we'll probably start to kind of bunch those up a little bit so you don't have such a wide sort of range of yardages within the iron set.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, this is probably actually the other one.
That moves pretty good.
Yeah, it is 29.5.
Yeah.
Okay, Zach, we're making changes, brother. We're into some new stuff. Taylormade P770 is the first stop. You kind of had your club side by side with it there. You're like, yeah, it's smaller, but it's not tiny. It's not intimidating by any means.
Definitely, when I stand over the ball with the T300, it looks big, bigger than normal, which I think just gave me a little bit of a confidence boost because if you miss it, it still feels like it's going to hit the face because it has a big appearance behind the ball. But this is a little smaller, and I don't mind it. It's not like something super tiny. You feel like you have to strike lightning to hit it.
Yeah, we want to kind of leave some tech in there because obviously the amount of golf you're playing, one thing we haven't got on camera yet is what is your current handicap?
I would say I'm probably around a 12.
Okay. Excellent. So ball striking, that definitely exceeds your handicap level, but at times some mishits that cause you to fall back into that.
It's often a couple terrible misses that lose a couple balls that really drop my score.
Okay.
But when I'm dialed in, I can have a good round and put something decent together.
Okay, let's get a little idea. So we've stuck with your shaft project, X6.5 in P770. Spec-wise, Mikey, 3 degrees upright, 65 degrees, and 1 degree weak on these ones.
Okay, let's do it.
That softness.
Mm-hmm.
Just like there's a really nice softness to the
Little bit
peak
more
there.
spin.
Just the spin. Just giving you that control.
5,300 spin. The nice thing out of the gates, we asked earlier, you know, Zach, we asked you, you know, what ball do you play? And you're like, I'm, you know, playing X ball right now and then playing another ball the odd time. I find if you're in a fitting and your fitter throughout the process doesn't ask you what ball you play or recommend, or, you know, in all our studios here, we have the ability to throw a Pro V1X down or throw a left dash down. Makes a huge difference in the fitting. So we've done that a little bit with you as well. We threw down.
So we were actually just on a Callaway Chrome Tour to start with. So it was just a fairly solid, slightly lower spin ball. And then we're going to give you the contrast now with the higher spin Pro V1X.
I like it. That first hit felt really nice.
Gorgeous.
That flight's so different. There you go.
So good.
That's a great strike.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, 3 absolute beauties. But in terms of the direction now, it's very, very predictable. We've got this tiny little dispersion circle.
Even that ball speed standard deviation is so much tighter, which brings the word,
Massive.
you know, consistency into play for your game.
And look at that. Look at the 3 balls we've got there. 183, 183, 183. Before, Zach, you were, I mean, I said to you, didn't I? I said, like, you know, put your finger up and take a pick of what yardage you're going to hit it.
Which way's the wind going?
It was almost impossible for you to get some predictability. Now, I would like to probably, if we could go over here into the club data, I'd probably like to bring that dynamic loft down just a little bit. 22 is probably the sweet spot, so we now know what we need to do at the static loft to move the dynamic. But it's really, really nice. One of the things that's good for you as well is dynamic lie not being toe down. So this minus 2.4 meant that the toe was down. Sometimes when you were hitting yours and you were kind of catching that heavy strike, that's what that was. That was the toe being in the ground. So by going a little more upright, we're actually cleaning up that contact. That's why those probably felt really nice, those last few strikes.
Those felt phenomenal.
Okay, let's make those little adjustments for you, because you couldn't have given me 3 better strikes. That was perfect. That's the
Stripey.
That's the kind of flight and distance. It's okay. I mean, that's totally 196 on the fly. Spin now is a slightly better window. That's on the last. So there we go. 5,014, 132. Now we're cooking. That's good. How good is that? Depressing? You depressed?
Quite depressing. That's right.
Wow.
I mean, I loved what we had in the first 3, but I really loved what we had with the next couple. Then we give you your sort of distance back.
Right.
So we take everything we loved from yours, we take everything we loved from the first one we gave you, and we kind of mesh them together, and we're in a really nice spot. Still great dynamics going on over
Efficiency
here.
goes up.
Really, really good stuff. Okay, let's explore a couple of other options. All right, Zach. I think first one was, I mean, you could have almost stopped there, to be honest. You could have, but we don't and we won't. We're going to keep on exploring. I really like that shaft for Zach.
6.5.
That's something that, you know, if you came in here and, you know, you're in that shaft and albeit it wasn't what you were originally supposed to be in, it actually fits you quite nicely. I think you time it nicely and all the important stuff that we consider when we're picking shafts for players, so I like it. The thing with T150, it really is designed with consistency in mind. Titleist saw a lot of different sort of irons that they kind of, I guess, were competing against, but you'd see fluctuations in a really good one versus a not so good one, high spin, low spin. And they really designed this one to be as consistent as it could possibly be for this kind of player's cavity category. Again, similar size to P770, probably same thing, like enough confidence, not too small, but certainly not oversized by any means.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, it looks good. All right, let's see a few. Came off really nice.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more of your faithful fade on that one.
Yep. Still felt good. Barely feels like you're even hitting a ball when you connect with that nicely.
Yep. Good swing. Really good swing. Yeah, that's the ideal.
One of the other things I noticed just from that shot is it's not rolling out.
Yeah.
You know, I'd get some with the T300 earlier, hit one landing like 205, rolling out to 225.
Yeah, when the spin is as low as it was, you know, in the kind of mid 3000s, you're going to struggle with that.
Okay, well, we're done, folks.
Thanks
Thanks for coming.
How good is that noise?
So good.
Yeah, it's good. Man.
I've never found the center of the face on my T150, so enjoy it.
I can vouch for that. I mean, look who you're striking those last few. It's just, that's why I don't want to mess with the shaft. Like, there's no need, if you're finding the sweet spot, it's a good match for your timing. Yeah, so we would just stay with the shafts that you're currently in. I mean, just as one less thing to think about, change, time. You know, the head is obviously the difference maker here. The spec of the head is different, but after that, we want you just to continue to feel comfortable in your set. These are amazing.
These are.
Really, really good. One more, and then we're going to change over to the Ping I230.
Okay.
Fraction clunky.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit.
still a little heavy.
Still the same distance though.
I know.
Yeah, a little high in the head.
But even though you missed that one, right, and you got a ball speed penalty on it, look at your launch and spin.
Wow.
Same
They
as a
didn't
pure one.
move.
Holy.
You know, we saw that earlier on, 4,300, 39, 34, 36, like jumping all over the place.
Yeah.
Even to be honest, a little bit, I mean, obviously those were higher lofted, but 53, 61, 57.
Yeah.
Like that's why we talk about what is engineered into those T150s being so unique, is that it just doesn't want to move.
No.
I can't sort of, you know, overestimate it enough for people like how important that is. If you have one thing that changes there and it's your ball speed, that's a penalty because you hit it slightly heavy, fine. If you still carried it 188, you're the front of the green, probably rolled on, get a 20 footer for, you know, birdie.
Yeah.
I love it. Right, let's go into the Ping. All right, Zach. God knows why we would get you in anything else other than those T150s with the Project X because they were perfect for you, but let's look. We selected 3 heads at the very start we thought would be good for you. P770, T150, I230s.
Yep.
Guys, there's lots of sort of opinion on these things. You guys might be suggesting others in the comments. That's all good, you know. Cobra, the King Tours, that was another one that was in my mind as well. But Zach doesn't need 40 heads to try. He needs, you know, 3 or 4 of the right ones, and having a demo matrix as sort of varied as ours is basically gives Zach the options of getting the exact right thing.
I think that point though is sometimes we get people that come in and they want to try everything. The fitters know the ins and outs of every club head, every shaft in the demo matrix. So if your fitter pulls 4 options, they've got their right intentions in mind for getting you the proper head. So you don't have to test everything.
You do not. Okay, let's hit a couple with this I230. Oh, you spoke too soon. That's flushed.
Well, delete that one.
No, it's so nice. A little bit more spin there, it looked, maybe 52,
Yeah.
54.
That felt fantastic. No complaints about that hit
Absolutely
at all.
gorgeous. Yeah, really nice again. I mean, super important, Mikey. We're keeping all of the important things that Zach needs, right? Obviously, distance, we've got the consistency. Ball speed is really, really good. Let's see if we just, probably actually the biggest spread with the Titleist, which is actually, I mean, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, we hit more shots certainly with the Titleist. Yeah, the difference, I'm just going to follow the trajectories up there. It's launching very, very similar, but slightly above the Titleist. And because it has a little more spin, it peaks a little earlier. And then that's why it drops a little shorter. Okay, a couple more. How does this one feel?
Feels really good.
Do you have a preference between this and the Titleist?
There's just something about that Titleist being forgiving, where we saw that the ones that I didn't hit well were still performing as we wanted them to.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for me, how I feel on the course when I'm playing. I know I've said that a lot today, but feeling confident and feeling like I can execute the shot exactly as I want to in my mind. The club forgiveness is allowing me to have more of that mentality, which I think is a big deal.
I mean, if we go into the sort of spec, and actually Zach is swinging a little bit quicker right now, so he's actually not getting quite as much efficiency. But isn't the worst thing when you get somebody who's high speed, get the efficiency down a little bit? People think of efficiency like it's always you have to have max efficiency. You don't, not with a 6-iron anyway. So really good on the dynamic loft. I like where we're at dynamic line, not as toe down, but I still believe this set of numbers was sort of the best we've seen. Give me one more with the ping, and then we'll go back to the T150.
Okay.
It's good, isn't it?
It seems like it comes down quite steep.
I know. It definitely does. Just a little bit of spin. I mean, it's really hard to pick a winner between the Titleist and the ping, if I'm being honest. There's decimal points of performance between them. They're both so good for you. All right, Zach, one more ride around with the T150s. Really impressed with that I230 though. I thought that ping was good for you.
Good
the
selection.
more you hit it.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I think this has to be the winner. It just doesn't even feel like I'm hitting a ball.
A lot of centered strikes when he hits the T150, isn't there? And there's one thing, I mean, we're all going to hit miss hits from time to time. But they, like, isn't that fascinating? Look, you hit a lot of shots with both, same exact launch angle, spin rate within 18, distance within 2 yards, standard deviation almost identical, Zach. It's a pick 'em. It really is. I mean, there was one shot, the very first shot I think you hit with the Titleist went a little bit to the right. Take that one out, and they're identical dispersions as well. So, you know, sometimes when you look at the sort of the data or the illustrations there, it makes it look like one is way different from the other. It's just one shot. Just eliminate that one shot, and it brings it all back together. Yeah, I couldn't. If you turned around and said, Ian, I love the ping, I want to go with the ping, like how it looked, felt, I'd say great choice. Same with the Titleist, great choice. Yeah. Not a bad one amongst them.
They both look great too.
They do.
Can't complain about either of them.
Definitely do.
I'll say that the fitting experience that I received where I got my T300s, it seemed to be more about what I wanted. And the fitter saying, hey, Zach, like, what are you looking for? And I, at the time I was like, I want to hit farther.
Yeah.
And clearly it worked for a little bit, but now it's not really benefiting my game. But I like the approach as to more of like a swing diagnosis here. You're not asking me what I know.
Yeah.
You're here to help me, which is a big deal.
Yeah, I think immediately our role is to make you comfortable to pass over the trust into our hands that these guys know what they're talking about. They're able to diagnose obviously the ball flight, the ball flight struggles that you see in the golf course, even to the divot type that you'll take in the golf course, shallower divots versus steeper divots. Once you start to see and gain the trust in us that yeah, these guys are, they're going to have my best interests at heart here, which is the most important thing, then you can relax and just hit your shots. When, as you say, it's about what you want, and the distance factor, everyone always goes in and says, I want to hit it further. It's not really what it's about. Now, you've actually, as it turns out, you're not going to walk out hitting it, that much shorter, really. It's the consistency of how far you hit it. Mm-hmm. The ball speed in actual fact has went up a little bit. You're faster with the T150 on average than you were with the T300. So it's just the consistency, though, like we talked about, that we're going to give you in your game. That's the meaningful thing from a 12 handicap to get down to 5 or 6, is knowing which club to pull at the right time and know it's going to do its job and not going to put you in trouble over the back of a green or way short, fall into a little creek or something like that. That's the most important thing. Cool. Okay, guys, really fun one to do with Zach, and I feel like in Canada we're blessed with players with high speed and can hit it really, really solid, and it's so important, like we've seen in other fits we've done with the follower fitting series, that we get our hands on players like that and really get the sort of the most important parts of the ball flight under control.
Definitely.
Spin rate, obviously consistency of ball speeds, MIK, strike location, all those things.
Tightening up dispersion. I mean, that's the big thing today. Look how much difference that dispersion is.
Yeah.
You can go out there and confidently know where that ball is going to go every single time you hit it, which is good to know.
Definitely. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed this. We want all of you to have this experience. If this resonates with any of you, in that I see a little bit of me in there. I had a fitting and it kind of seemed like I was kind of controlling in the bay what I was trying. That's not really a fitting. That's called a demo day. That's something where you're literally just trying golf clubs. That's not what we do. If that's what you want to do, you're probably better not coming to us anyway. That's not what you'll never, no one in the bay with me or Mike or really any of our guys will ever be going, yeah, give me that one, put that shaft on. I went, whoa, what are we doing here? That's not what this is. We're here, we are trained, we're in it for you guys to help you perform the best. We're going to show you the numbers in the launch monitor, we're going to deliver the results, and we're going to pass it over to you to see if you think there's value enough in that for you to improve your game.
Definitely.
Great stuff. Okay, guys, stay tuned for more, and we'll see you again soon.